Loot boxes could be changing forever, and that's down to the EU. So it looks like the EU is looking to put in a more stricter sort of regulations when it comes to loot boxes as part of their Digital Fairness Act, and I for one think this is great. Loot boxes have become a bit of a scourge when it comes to online games and has just sort of permeated a lot of what we do in regards to our consumption of video games and in-game video game items. And now it looks like the EU wants to try and stem that sort of darker, sort of impractical and outright gambling practice inside of video games by putting stricter regulations on it and ensuring that kids are not being targeted with these types of mechanics. On top of this here, they also want to try and basically develop a way for you to see the history of your spend, understand what you're buying into, see what the actual items are available with a percentage-based chance of what you're getting, and giving you, the player, more informed actual consent to what you're actually buying into, or in reality, gambling into. Obviously, this is not went without any sort of backlash. I say backlash. Supercell, the people who made Clash of Clans and a bunch of other mobile games, already put out an open letter criticizing this, as it was basically drastically change how people would make profit on video games and how companies would use monetization models. And good. It's a predatory practice. It should not necessarily be in video games, especially ones that minors are intended audience for those games. That is so stupid. However, the bigger implication of this here is that they might then have to think of other ways to try and monetize via battle passes or other actual just in-game item spends where you know what you're paying for. There's no surprise, there's no gotcha mechanic, but it just depends how our developers are going to react to that. Will be decided on how this law is finalized and implemented. With that in mind, we're probably going to see a lot more companies, especially ones that use gotcha mechanics, try and go against this law and try and plead to EU to stop this here, as the EU is a big enough market. When they make a decision on something or a change fundamentally how games work or any sort of product works, it tends to affect the global market because it's just easier to develop and to design for one style of market rather than skew the whole design across multiple markets. But let me know what you think down in the comments down below, and follow to stay tuned in for more.